Hello, viewers all over the world. My name is Dr. Hilary Nwechefu. I'm your anchorman, your lawyer, your marriage counselor, and your friend. I welcome you to my page, Marriage and Divorce, where we discuss issues that affect people in their marriages, where we discuss issues that affect people in the case of a divorce or their children, anything that has to do with their marriage. We discuss it here. And today, I have decided to look into an issue which some people have drawn to my attention. And the issue is this, the question is this. I was asked, counselor, lawyer, our anchorman, what should a woman do or what should a wife do when her husband dies, or if her husband dies, what is she expected to do? What steps is she expected to take in that circumstance when the husband dies? Yes, many women don't know what to do. Many women feel confused when they lose their husband. Many women take wrong advices when their husband dies. Many women get confused, take wrong advice when their husband dies. Many women are cheated. Many women are manipulated by enemies, by detractors when their husband die. But today, I'm going to discuss, I'm going to enlighten women what to do, the immediate step to take when their husband dies. I'm not praying for your husband to die. I am also not praying that I should die. I'm a man. We are not praying for anybody to die untimely, but we are saying, should the unexpected happens, should a woman die, what happens? The woman should immediately go and get a death certificate, apply and get a death certificate of her husband. That death certificate she will apply and get and obtain is an evidence that her husband had died. With that death certificate, she can now approach the employers or the employer of her husband. With the death certificate, she can approach the husband's employers. The husband employers, on receiving that death certificate from her, will proceed to process any financial entitlement her husband will receive, or her husband next of kin, or her husband wife may receive, depending on who the husband named as his next of kin. Yes, and that is why I advise men, when you get employment and get married, if you want your husband, if you want your wife to get entitlement from your employer when you pass on, go and change the documentation with your employer and put your wife as the next of kin. But if you don't want your wife to be the next of kin and you want your son or your daughter to be your next of kin, immediately you gave birth, go and change the documentation with your employer to the name of your son or your daughter that you want to be your next of kin. And if you want your wife to be your next of kin, go and change your documentation and put your wife's name as the next of kin, so that by the time you die, you pass on, your wife will come with the death certificate present to the employer, and they will pay her, give her whatever she is entitled to as a wife, as a next of kin. This is because the wife who has lost her husband shouldn't be made to be a beggar, shouldn't be robbed, shouldn't be manipulated. So I'm giving the knowledge now. Let every woman open her ears and eyes wide open. Look at me and hear what I'm saying. If you lose your husband, what you're expected to do, go and get a death certificate, inform the bank immediately that he has died. You have to inform his bankers if you know them. Even before you get the death certificate, you go and inform his bankers, telling them that he has died, so that nobody will tamper with his check and steal his money. So that nobody will tamper with his ATM card or debit cards and tamper with his money. You have to inform his bank so that the bank will caution the account. Nobody will make a withdrawal there until a valid letter of administration has been procured and presented to the banks. Did you understand me now? So, in other words, what I'm trying to say, that as soon as the man dies, the woman gets a death certificate. She approaches the employers of her husband and presents the death certificate for them to process the entitlement of her husband and give it to her. If she's the next of kin, she receives it. If her daughter is the next of kin or her son, she receives it on their behalf. If they are minors, if they are grown up, they'll come forward to receive the entitlement of their father. And another thing I said, that you make sure that you inform the bank immediately so that nobody, no stranger, will get hold of his ATM or checks and steal his money, and steal the late man's money, which his children and his wife are entitled to for their maintenance and upkeep. I hope you are following what I'm saying now. Yes. That is not all. If he has a life assurance policy, you have to take the death certificate, also a copy, to insurance company to inform them that the man has passed on, that the man has died, so that they can process the life assurance claim and give to you as a wife, and give to the children if he has used them as next of kin. You don't have to be crying about, you don't have to be weeping about, you don't have to turn yourself to a beggar. You take the right step, get his best death certificate, approach his banks, approach his employer, approach his life insurance companies who will process his entitlement and give to you. Then you can use it to start life afresh. You can use it to invest and begin to run your life normally as if the man did not die. I hope you are following what I'm saying. Knowledge is power, and you have to listen to all these things and understand more. That is not all you can do. If the man dies and you have your personal property as his wife, you have your personal property as his wife, and in your own will you have made, you named your husband as a beneficiary. Perhaps the woman has 3 buildings and has named one of the building to her husband. She has willed it, she has given it to her husband in a will. Now the husband has died before her. What she should do is to go and update the will. The woman will go and update the will, then change the name of the husband from that property to somebody else she wishes to give the property to when she passes on. You cannot give a gift to a dead man. He cannot come from the grave to inherit the gift in case you die. So now he has died before you. All the gifts you made to him in your will, you have to go and update the will and give it to somebody else. That is the message I have for you. I hope I've enlightened you. I hope you have gained something from what I've just taught. What I'm saying here is not my opinion. That is the position of the law. That is the position of the law. Go and